Hello everyone, my name is Charlotte and welcome to my first video here. This is really my first time trying this out. I hope I'm in focus. I'm not too sure about that. I'm not even too sure if I'm in frame. I tried to check that. Cute clip of me running around. My name is Charlotte and I'm making this video to talk about some books that I read. This is my June wrap-up. This is my first time ever doing one of these, so I'm not even quite sure actually of what I want to say about the books. But I just thought that I wanted to summarize what I read. Now I'm realizing I should have prepared some notes. Let me grab my phone. I might grab my computer as well. So in June I actually read 6 books in total. I actually reached my Goodreads goal. My goal was to read 12 books this year, and so far I've actually read 14 books now. And the Pirate Path consisted of 4 challenges. In June I participated in A Frolic Through Fiction's readathon, Make Your Myth Taker. I went with the path of the pirate, so it was a rogue character. I had to read 4 books. So for my first book I had to read a book featuring water. And I thought it would be kind of fun to read, as I was attempting to become a pirate, to read a book about pirates. So I read Daughter of the Pirate King by Trisha Levenseller. I gave this book 2 stars. I read it as an ebook, so I don't have a physical copy, but I can just show you. I bought it and read it in hope that it would be somewhat similar to one of my favorite books, which is Assassin's Curse. It was not, which I kind of had a feeling when I started reading it, or even before, but I don't know, you never know. So I did have quite low expectations from the beginning, and they were certainly met. I felt like the story that unfolded wasn't really that exciting, and that the characters were quite two-dimensional. There weren't really many layers to the characters. I don't have that much to say about it. I read it mainly because I had to read it for the readathon. I don't think I will continue with the series. My second book, I read 6 of Crows. It's the collector's edition, so that's why it has this beautiful red stained pages. I read that book for the challenge of reading a book with a dark cover, which you can see this book has. I had heard basically the entire booktube raving about this book, and I kind of guessed that I would like it. I had a feeling that I would like it beforehand. I have never read anything by Leigh Bardugo before, so I haven't read any books about the Grishaverse, so I was a bit confused in the beginning. But I mean, once you read like perhaps 50 pages or something, you kind of start to get into it. If you haven't read anything previously about the Grishaverse, it might take some time to get into the story, and you might be a bit confused at first. But once you get into it, it's pretty darn amazing, I would say. The characters were all amazing. I really liked Jesper, and I liked Wylan, because I found him quite relatable, honestly. And of course I loved Cass. But I loved all of the other characters as well. And also like the characters that I didn't quite enjoy in the beginning. By the end of the book I loved everyone. It's a character-driven book. And even though the actual plot itself is really exciting, what really makes this book is the characters. But this is also actually the first time that I do some sort of annotating. I didn't actually write in the book, but I just used post-its to mark places I enjoyed. It was just a very enjoyable read for me. So I rated it 5 stars. I'm somewhere in between like 4.5, 5 stars. It's not perfection, but it was just a really nice read. I have now ordered the second book. I'm super excited for that one. It's gonna be great. Now, for the third book that I read for this readathon, the challenge was to read a story featuring a journey. So the book that I read was Treasure Island by Robert Louis Stevenson. And I actually have this one, the Swedish translation, so I read it in Swedish. It's called Skattkammarön in Swedish. I didn't really get into this book. For a book called Treasure Island, there was very little treasure in it. The book was mostly about like the people arguing and a lot of politics. And I guess that's what you can expect from a pirate book. How I fit it into the prompt of reading a book featuring a journey is, well, the journey is to get to Treasure Island. So, duh. It was a bit boring. I'm happy I read it, but that's about it. I gave Treasure Island a 2-star rating on Goodreads. Now for the fourth book. The fourth book was the prompt of reading a bargain book. So any book that you got for a good price or something. So once again I read an ebook. So I read Brainy World by Aldous Huxley. And I gave this book 3 stars. At first, when I started reading it, I just felt like the book was telling me that I was stupid. But then later on, I got more interested because we were actually introduced to some characters, which made it easier to understand the society. I did really enjoy the writing, but it was confusing at times. It took some time to figure out whether you were reading what someone was saying or their thoughts. And there were also certain cases where there was like shifting perspectives, and it was quite fun to read, but also a bit confusing at times. Also, I kind of noticed that perhaps that book has not really aged that well. You can tell that it was written like 90 years ago. I gave it 3 stars. I'm still quite undecided. Would probably have been like a 2.5. Once again, I'm really happy that I read it. I do feel like it's a good classic. I do prefer the works by George Orwell in comparison to this one. And those were the 4 books that I read for the Make Your Myth Take a Readathon. I'm really happy I participated. The reason I participated is because I've learned that readathons actually, they're just great for me, for making me read, and also for making me read a broad variety of books. Out of these 4, 2 were classics. One was a Swedish translation. I read a fantasy book that I had been really excited about. I read another fantasy book that was on my TBR, but I felt kind of meh about. I got like a broad range of books within this readathon. I had planned to wear my pirate shirt for this video. I bought this like white shirt with the poofy arms. It's actually a really good pirate shirt, but it's in the wash. I mainly used my makeup to be a bit more like piratey, or what I would go for if I was a pirate. I would have like the bronzy, golden, smoky eye and black eyeliner. It's like bronze skin and such. Not sure if you were interested in that. That's what I got on my face, and that's why I made my makeup like this. I read 2 more books this month. The book I read after finishing this readathon was Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone. Now, I know there's a lot of drama going on. This isn't about the author at all. This is just that I read this book this month. I've never read this series before, and I bought these books earlier this year with the goal of reading them this summer, and it was before all of the drama happened. I'm still decided on reading these books since I own them now and I want to get into the story because I never have before. I don't want people to feel uncomfortable, and I kind of feel a bit uncomfortable myself talking about it like publicly like this, not only with my friends. I read this book. For the first time I used like colored post-its to kind of annotate. Once again, I didn't actually write in the book, so I only used the post-its. I had so much fun reading this one. I knew I would like it, but I was actually surprised by how much I liked it. It was a 5-star read for me, and I'm really excited about continuing with the series. I recorded my thoughts and sent it to my friend. I did read that. I'm on my journey of reading the series now. I'm having a good time with that. Then, the final book I read this month was Mitchellson Demons by Dan Brown. I actually started this one in January, but I only finished it this month. Not because it's bad or anything, but only because other books came in the way. I would have finished it quicker if it wasn't for the readathons that I participated in this month and in April as well. My thesis came in the way as well. I borrowed this copy from my mom, so it's the Swedish translation. I really enjoyed it. I read the Da Vinci Code before by Dan Brown. Thought that one was good as well. This one is, as we know, it's basically the same story. I really enjoyed that this one took place in Rome. So I really want to travel to Rome sometime soon. Don't have that much to say about it, honestly. The mystery was great. I really enjoyed like the running around Rome part. Could have skipped out on the romance in this book. I really didn't care about romance, and I love romance. But I felt for this book, for this sort of like mystery, thriller, detective thing, I didn't need a romance. I gave Dan Brown 3 stars. So that was my month. To wrap this up, we had 2 2-star reads, 2 3-star reads, and 2 5-star reads. I read 2 classics, 2 Swedish translations, 3 fantasies and 1 mystery thriller. I should probably for the next time try to do some sort of like tables or graphs or something. As I said, this is my first ever wrap up, so I guess I will see how it went in the editing now. Thank you so much for watching. I hope I'll see you soon. Take care, okay? Bye! I'm breathing hard. I need a drink. Not that kind of drink, like water.